Welcome back. We are going to look at a new command now. This particular command is called extrude cut. If you understand everything we did about extrude boss base command, this is the opposite of that really. This is the one you use to create a negative space to delete material away. You know, sometimes it's not enough for you to be able to just draw the boundary and be able to extrude things out of the floor plane or the wall planes, etc. Sometimes you want to do that, also be able to take away material from the existing solid. Okay, I would like to demonstrate that by probably solving this particular problem as well as our target for this particular video. Okay. In here you can clearly see it's fairly straightforward to be able to sketch that profile there and extrude it 40. However, there is no straightforward way of creating that hole that goes through the middle, which is shown there. And in this particular instance, we will have to use the extrude command to be able to create that cylindrical opening in the middle. We will look at that in a minute. Right, how does extrude cut work? Let me demo that to you. Let's just say, for instance, extrude cut will be, if you miss that, it is not available for you readily because it only activates itself if there is anything you can cut away really. So when you open the file for the first time, you will not be able to see the command. It's grayed out, which is very logical. Let's say I want to create just a blank material. This time I want to use a slot shape. And I would like to dimension that as follows. To say this side is 200 long and this is 75 radius, makes it 150 that way, fully defined as well. I can go ahead and extrude this as my base profile. So let's just say I want to extrude it out about 100 mil. Green tick to confirm, and that gives me the block to work with. Now I can think of taking the material away. Let's say, for instance, I wanted to drill a hole through here. Okay, probably concentrate this circle. Can we do that? Yes, we can. This is the process. What I need to do is locate a flat surface wherever I can start sketching. Now this probably might be good new knowledge to you. You don't really need to rely all the time on planes to sketch on. You can actually use the flat provided by the recently created solid as your sketching plane too. So in this particular instance, let's just say I wanted to sketch something on this flat surface there and use that profile to drill through all the way out on the other end. So I can do exactly that. I'm going to have to select that flat as my sketching plane. So I'm going to go select that surface, and when I do that, Solidworks gives me tons of choice. You have to be very careful here because the icons look very similar. These three icons are really similar. Obviously we use very often. If you wanted to edit the sketch that created this this profile, you will have to go into the edit feature command. If you wanted to create a new sketch, that's the option you want to go in. And if you wanted to edit the sketch, that's right there. Okay, so edit feature, so editing the extension here, or the extent of that feature will be here. Editing the footprint is right here, or drawing a new sketch on that level is through here. Okay, so the icons are very tightly packed here, and you want to be very careful what you want to do. Okay, just as well, you know that this is the icon for the new sketch, and this you are familiar with that. So I'm going to go and say, on that surface there, I want to draw a new sketch. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do that. And when I do it this time, obviously nothing's changed on the screen, but I know I'm in the sketch edit mode. It says so everywhere, but I'm not used to drawing sketch on an inclined plane like this. So I'm going to do right click, look normal too, so it flattens everything out nicely in front of me. Now I can go in and sketch. Let's say I want to draw myself a circle. So this circle, if I were to bring my cursor over to I don't know if you noticed, it was actually quite subtle what happened on the screen just now. I want to draw a circle concentric to this arc here. Okay, I know the center point of that is in there somewhere, but since I don't really know that, what I'm going to do is, if I bring my cursor to the edge, the center point will show itself. I hope. Yes, it has. Look at that. Then I can swiftly go and click that and draw a circle of my choice. In this case, it's going to be 60 mil. I don't need to specify the home position for that because we are building up on the existing brick here, okay? And the center of that circle, center of the newly drawn circle, is locked in concentric with the edge of our slot, okay? And that's how this is really, really interesting now. I'm going to exit that because I'm happy with that profile there. And now bring in a new command called extruded cut, okay? These two are very complementary to each other. So extrude boss base will build 3D objects for you, and extruded cut will create. It's like using a chisel or a saw to take away material you don't need, okay? So we're gonna use that particular command to be able to create that opening. So I'm going to go and say exactly the same menu as we saw in the extrude boss base command. You have the start condition and you have the end condition there with some other advanced features built into it, okay? So I can say start from the sketch plane. If I didn't want that, I could set it up to start on the other end, etc. So I can do all sorts of stuff around here, so feel free to explore with that. And blind is basically, this is a definitive distance. So if you wanted it to go a specific distance, I know my part is 100 long, and if I wanted it to go all the way through on this occasion, I will go blind 100 millimeter. But what if eventually in the future somebody comes and edits your drawing and they make it 120 long? Your hole's not going to go all the way through, it will stop at 100. So depending on what your design intent is, and if you want that hole to be all the way through regardless of the depth of the model, probably you want to say I want it to go all the way through. And if it did that, you don't have to specify the number. What it will do is carry on drilling until it hits air on the other side. So it will just carry on boring that hole out until it's nice and clear all the way through, okay? And I can go ahead and click green to confirm that. And that gives me that little cut I have created, okay? Once again, I can look at it section way. And this is what I have created here. Something to bear in mind, once again, if you wanted to edit the properties of the cut, you will have to go onto the tree and find yourself either the sketch, the footprint of the cut to edit, or the depth or the extent of the cut to edit, okay? So for instance, if you change your mind about that being 60, you can always say I need to go back in and I need to edit the sketch, and I'm gonna go look straight at it by going look normal 2, and instead of that 60, I'm going to change that number as 65. Tell you what, I think I can push it slightly higher. Oh, not that high. 80. If I exit the sketch, Solidworks will rebuild itself. I won't have to run anything or do anything special. It will just roll forward to comply with that particular change. Exactly the same theory with the slot shape here. If you wanted that to be brought, stretched out a bit for some reason, you can do exactly that. Right click and edit, and I'm going to go look straight at it. So I'm going to go normal 2, and instead of that 200, probably I wanted that to be 250. This is the newer number, a stretched out version. And those are all my changes. So very quickly, to be able to create a cut, you will have to have a billet you want to machine away the material from. Until then, it will be grayed out. But once you have a solid in your graphics area, that command will activate itself. It works exactly the same way as extrude boss base. It relies on a base feature, which is the sketch. You draw a profile, and following on, you use the extrude cut command to be able to define the extent of it. So it goes above, below, mid plane. All of those constraints that we looked at in extrude boss base applies to extrude cut as well. So it's a very similar way of working in terms of methodology. Now, let's see if we can do this. It's a bit of a challenge, but I think we have everything we need to know about this particular part. So that looks like a little bracket there, okay? So that L shape, C shape bracket, whatever shape that you call that, is this is the isometric view. This is the front view of that, and this is the top view, okay? All the information we need is given in this particular exercise. So we have the profile that goes 30 out, 50 down, 50 across, and it is 10mm thick all the way through. We can look at it on some different views and say, right, that is 10 high, I know that, and this is also going to be exactly the same all the way through. Okay, so I'm going to go and plant this onto the front plane, obviously, because it comes out of the front. As you can see, that's the resting position once we finish. So we want it to come out of the front plane, or mid plane, at least on the front plane. Probably plant that point as the origin, and so everything's built ahead of that, really, in that quadrant. And I'll start measuring distances out from this plane like so. Let's see if we can do this now. New part file. This instance, I'm going to go onto the front plane. Okay, using the humble line command, I'm going to go snap onto the origin, click across, up, across a little bit, not committing to any snaps if I don't intend to. So I've created that rough profile, which is an edge shape, really. It's not accurate yet. Right, do we know the numbers? I'm going to go and say this is 30 This bad boy right here is 10, and so is everywhere else. So I'm going to go and probably say that again round here. And I got a funny feeling that it expects me to define that here too, so I'm going to do that. Okay, the height is 50, and the width, if it allows me to dimension that, is 52. Okay, that's 10, that's 10, fully defined. I'm happy with that. Whilst we are on the case, I think we need to introduce the fillet around here. It's better to do this in this particular one in the sketch environment. Now, if you observe the fillets, we know this is the wall thickness is 10mm, and we've been given this fillet radius is 10. So in order to keep it all nice and soft and concentric, I'm going to make it a nice 20 fillet round here and R10 round here. Okay, so let's see if we can get that effect going now. I'm going to blend that in 10mm, like so, like that profile there. Green tick to confirm, and I'm going to go in now and blend that in with a 20mm fillet. So I'm going to type in 20 instead of 10, and when that blue box is active, I'm going to go find myself that little corner and green tick to confirm. That gives me that beautiful blend going all the way through, equal wall thickness, concentric turn, and it goes straight up and flattens itself nicely. All the numbers match up. I'm going to go green tick, exit sketch. At this point in time, I'm going to go extrude that out, hopefully mid plane, and the extrusion I'm after is 40mm. Green tick to confirm. Couple of fillets later, this is going to look amazingly nice. Right, so I'm going to go, this is the feature fillet. I'm going to go fillet that out. Radius 10. And this is a full round fillet. Trying to make a decision, do I do it here or do I do it somewhere else? I'm not going to do it here, I'll do it in a minute. So that's the first fillet done, because this is R10. This round here, what we're looking at, it is called a full round fillet. Okay, so let me demo the new kind of fillet to you now. If I go into the fillet function, the effect I'm looking for is called full round fillet. Okay, so you basically sequentially click those three planes. Solidworks will come in just like a puppy, round it all off beautifully. Okay, so I'm going to go and activate that. Be very careful, because this then relies on you selecting those faces in that sequence. Okay, as you can probably tell by the icons here, you got to select in a sequence those three faces, activate those around here, and hopefully Solidworks will knock it up quite nicely. Okay, so when that first box is active, I'm going to go and say this is my first face, activating the second box. This is my second face, activating the pink box there. I'm going to say this is my third face, and with a bit of luck and computing power, we have it. Going to green tick to confirm, and that was a really nice round fillet which just blends both those walls together in a nice bullnose shape. Okay, now we're back on the case where we're looking at creating a hole around the middle, which obviously we haven't yet managed to do that yet. And also keep an eye on the tree that's growing longer and longer as we add more features to this. Now for us to be able to create the hole round here, I'm going to go and sketch myself a circle on that flat surface there, not there or there or there. It has to be there so I can drill through that. Okay, that's the plan. So I'm going to go. You gotta bear in mind that blue section is my working altitude. Now I'm working there. Anything I draw, I'll be able to push it down or maybe pull it up. And ideally I want to push it down so I can drill down into it really. So at that level, I'm going to go sketch, and I'm going to go right click, normal to. Now this looks pretty similar to the top view we are looking at. Okay, and all I need is a circle at the intersection here, which I'm sure it is trying to show me the intersection. There we go, right there, 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 there. There, I'm going to go with that. That's the midpoint. Smart dimension that as 20. Fully defined as well, obviously, because we told how big the circle was and where is the seed. Okay, so that's basically built at the center point of that segment there, which is a very definitive point in space. Happy with that. I'm going to go exit that. Look what we've done. We managed to draw the circle on that flat. How did we achieve that? Because we selected that flat as our sketching plane. Okay, now I can do whatever I want to do with that. I can create a solid out of it, or I can, as the exercise suggests, drill it out. So I'm going to go extrude cut it. Maybe not that bad, not that long. Okay, that's really aggressive. I'm just going to go and say through all. That just stops wherever that stops. I know that is 10, so I could also say blind and 10 millimeter, and that'll do the job for me as well correctly. So that comes out all the way on the other side. I'm going to go green tick to confirm, and I think this is it. Look at the tree growing constantly. Okay, we have created our base profile. Following that, we came in. Ideally, in a professional world, you want to do the cut before you do fillets. Fillets and chamfers are left for the end. We apply them in the very end. I was hoping to use that roundedness of that as a concentric relationship with that circle there, but I didn't have to. That midpoint gave me the correct spot to do so. So I didn't have to. But so I could have organized them in the end as well. So that's a better practice to do. Okay. Once again, bear in mind, anything you would like to edit, you will have to pick the appropriate feature from the tree and either click or right click and go into the top left menu to be able to edit that feature or edit the sketch that gave rise to the feature. So just remember those two things. Okay. Happy with this.